Hi everyone. I'd actually like to start with a little bit of audience participation. So please raise your hand if you've ever gone fishing for salmon. And keeping those hands raised, also raise your hand. Come on, raise them up if you've ever eaten salmon. Now looking around, you see there's actually a lot of hands raised here, and we could call this our salmon community. And if I asked that same question throughout Newfoundland, across Canada, and in other countries, you would see that our salmon community goes across the globe. But when you go to a grocery store and you order salmon in a restaurant, chances are you're actually eating farm salmon. This is because wild Atlantic salmon populations worldwide are in decline. Some are even locally extinct. And when I first started researching wild Atlantic salmon, I came across this cartoon. And in it, the customer is asking, "Is this salmon wild?" To which the waiter replies, "Of course it's wild, and you would be wild too if you had to deal with all these things in a sea pen." So now, while this cartoon is quite funny, it also illustrates a great point, that true wild Atlantic salmon require our attention. And if I haven't stressed the dire state of Atlantic salmon yet, allow me to tell you that just last week, William Shatner of Star Trek fame published a video engaging the public, encouraging them to promote a Canadian bill that's going to help save wild salmon. Now, my mother grew up watching Star Trek, and because of my mother, I grew up watching Star Trek. And with this video, I now consider what I do with Atlantic salmon as being Trekkie science. So what exactly is my Trekkie science? So just as how my mother's experiences influenced my own, the same thing happens with salmon. And what we found here in Newfoundland is that when a salmon mother produces eggs for the very first time, she produces bright orange eggs that are high in nutrition. But once she survives that spawning and comes back the next year to spawn, she's in a lower energetic state. Very first time was really hard on her. So she produces a pale yellow egg that's very low in nutrition. And these nutritional differences have impacts on those developing offspring. This would be like if your mother packed you a healthy lunch and your mother gave you a Big Mac. Sure, at the end of the day, you probably both get through it, but a more nutritious lunch would be better for you in the long run. And we're trying to take our research to the next level. We want to take these results we found in the lab and bring them into the field. So we've teamed up with the Salmonid Association of Eastern Newfoundland. And they're a local non-for-profit that's been working on wild salmon conservation for decades. And together, we're combining the research that we've done in the lab to what they're doing in the field. And we've started planting wild fertilized eggs here in St. John's. And in a matter of a few years, we've gone from a river that hasn't seen wild salmon populations in over 100 years to actually just this past spring producing smolts, which are salmon that are going out to sea to come back to spawn again. We've produced over 100 of them. And so with that, I would like to encourage you all to come join us. This is actually a citizen science program. You guys can get involved, and all together, in the words of Captain Kirk, we can save the wild salmon. Thank you.